This plant is known as the orchid and it originates from the Orchidaceae family. This specific orchid is the Ludicea orchid and it can be found in the green room at Fisher. Ludicea orchids are also known as jewel orchids and they make up a rare genus that only includes this one species. These orchids have dark green leaves and small white flowers that bloom in the fall and winter. Ludicea orchids also don't require a lot of sunlight and they do well as indoor houseplants. Something interesting about orchids is that they are one of the oldest families of flowering plants and can be dated back to 120 million years ago, with orchids being the second largest family of flowering plants with about 26,000 different species. They come in many different shapes, sizes, and colors. Some orchids can bloom and only grow as large as a dime, while other orchid species can grow up to 44 feet tall, with petals as long as 11 inches. This is the largest species of orchid, known as the tiger orchid. While the average orchid lives for about 20 years, this specific species has orchids still alive today that are over 160 years old. Moving on to the anatomy of an orchid's flower has bilateral symmetry, meaning each side mirrors each other. The flower has 3 sepals, which are made up in the outer circle, and 3 petals, which are in the inner circle. The bottom petal differs from the other 2 and it forms the lip of the flower where pollinators can land on it. For reproduction, the female parts are fused to the column and the male parts are fused together to a pollinarium that sits protected under the anther cap. Orchids are sometimes called the smartest plants in the world because of their ability to trick insects and humans into helping with their pollination and transport. Orchids have evolved to make the lip of the plant look like an insect to attract other pollinators, and the beauty of the plant draws humans to them and makes humans take them and transport them to different locations. Lastly, orchids are used in many parts of the world for different products. The juices and extracts from these flowers, leaves, and roots are still used medicinally and cosmetically. Dyes, paste, washes, flavorings, perfumes, and more are all made from parts of the orchid plant. Orchids have been found to also have super moisturizing properties for skin hydration and healing, though the most common product produced by orchids is vanilla.